you know, solo lot practicing since I'm by myself. I don't mind practicing with other people, it's harder for me to concentrate. And maybe you'll get to see me loop. So I'm really trying to work on this whole rear brake thing. Hopefully if the cops come they won't fuck with me since it's an empty lot. Alright, I take back what I said, I am improving. Yesterday I went and did a lot practice with like Cesar and everyone. I just felt like I wasn't improving at all. And already that showed me I'm doing a lot better today. This is FYI, this is first gear. I'm practicing my brake control and balance on slow wheelies. Woo! That was high. Getting kind of toasty out here. Too much throttle. Yeah, so when you start practicing the slow stuff, it's probably better if you start learning to wheelie doing slow stuff. I know like everybody tells you that, but it doesn't really kick in your head. But after you get decent at holding them at higher speeds, the low speed stuff is what you really need practice on, because that teaches you your balance and everything. This is like a perfect freaking lawn. It's right near my house. I don't know what Cesar and all of them don't like it. Fucking hell, man. I don't know how those dudes fucking tail scrape and shit. I think I'm gonna drop my jacket off on a bench over there. It's freaking hot. Alright, so since I'm shitty at fucking wheelies compared to everybody else, for the most part that I ride with, and I have a wheelie tutorial video on my SV650, or yeah, when I have my SV650, it's on my channel. I've already like retitled the video. Don't watch this, it's not worth it. I just left it up because it's such a high view count video, and you know, I put warnings in it that don't listen to my fucking advice. It's not that it was completely wrong, it's just I didn't know how to wheelie worth the fuck when I made it. And that's the funny thing about wheeling, like learning to wheelie. When you first start out and you make that first big jump and actually being able to like fucking hold the bike up a little bit, like basically chase it, you think you know how to fucking wheelie. It's just because you're still too focused on the bike to realize, no, you're not really wheeling. I mean, you're wheeling, but you're just chasing the fuck out of it. And that's what I was doing in that video. Let me find a place to set my jacket down. It's starting to cook. So, yeah, like when you're first learning how to fucking wheelie, and you first make your big leap of like being able to carry the bike out, and it's not just a little pop-up, you know, for a foot or so, you think you know what you're doing, and you don't. And you also think too much brake. You also think that you're a balance point way sooner than you actually are. Trust me, you're not at fucking balance point when you first start wheeling. I mean, I take that back, you know, some people might, you know, fuck up and like give it way too much throttle and come up into balance or something. But trust me, like when you're rolling, you know, 20-30 miles an hour, probably faster than that when you first start learning the wheelie. I think I started doing them at like 40. Then you're not at balance point. And that's the big thing, and that's what's slowing down your wheelies is really going to help you realize that you're not at balance. Because if you're not close to balance point or imbalance point in the slow wheelie, you're going to come right back out of it really quick. So my best advice to you guys when you're first learning this stuff is when you start these first gears and stuff, like honestly, I'd like to tell you to start learning wheelies in first, but so many people are so choppy with the throttle that a good amount of you would probably loop. I know I probably would have looped learning in first. It is intimidating when you don't have that throttle control. The thing is, in first, on any bike especially, but especially a big bore supermoto like this, you don't have to give it much throttle at all. It comes right up. And see what I mean? Since I wasn't in balance point, I mean, I backed off throttle, but since I kind of backed off throttle, it just came right back out of it. So, anyways, my advice on that is, once you get to this point where you're comfortable just sitting here pulling them up in first in the parking lot and learning balance, basically, when I do this now, it doesn't even bother me. Like, I don't get any type of fear. I get maybe just a spike of chill down my spine if I think I'm going back too far. But even then, it's like I'm not panicking about it. I'm just like, okay, rear brake, rear brake. So, when you get to this point where you're comfortable just going back and forth in the lot in first and pulling it up, if you bring up the bike, I'll try and do a shitty one to demonstrate what I mean. Okay, if you bring up the bike like this, okay. Well, shit. That's actually a good one. If you don't bring it up high enough and you're chasing the fuck out of it, like you just hear your engine RPM shooting up, just immediately drop it. Don't keep chasing it out. There's no point. You've already fucked up the wheelie. Like here. Well, my bike just likes to fucking pull up when I give it gas, but I've done some shitty ones. I guess I'd have to pull it up, let it come out of balance, and then chase it to show you what I mean. Let me try and do that. Alright. There we go. Did you hear that? You hear how I let the bike drop a little, and then when it started dropping, I gassed it? Well, I came too far out of balance that my bike was just fucking climbing in RPMs. And there's no point in chasing that wheelie out. It's not going to help you in any way. It's going to actually teach you bad habits. If your bike isn't up at the level you need it, and you're having to chase it out, you've already fucked up the wheelie. Just drop it. That's all I'm doing. That's why you see me don't hold them long at all. Because if I come out of balance, I know I fucked it up. It's just time to drop it and start over. I did a little bit there, but I was able to recover it back into balance. And that comes down to your throttle control, not giving it too much and bringing it back too far, and also brake control, which I'm still not good at brake control, and that's one thing I'm practicing at the same time. I mean, it's just gonna come down to you practicing your ass off. Some people just get it quicker than others. Like, I'm a slower learner than some of the guys. Like when I first met Tori, aka Subimoto, he was holding balance point for the most part, but he was still chasing here and there. And I wasn't even fucking really holding balance point. I maybe got lucky a few times on highway wheelies. I'd be able to hold it for a little bit. Woo! Coasted that for a sec. But it's just like he's progressed a lot quicker than I have, and I progressed faster than some guys I know. So it's just all just the amount of time you can practice and put into it, and how much you really want to learn. Try not to let my bike rev out that high. I don't want noise complaints. Alright, and that's ideally what you want when you bring it up. You want that nice and smooth, just real consistent, straight up. You don't want it, you know. And I'm still bad about that at higher speeds. Like lower speeds, I'm pretty good about bringing it real slow, smooth and consistent up, but at higher speeds, I still usually have to like bring it up and then a little bit more, like throttle it up with the up to balance. Wasn't bad. It all has to do with body position, I guess. Alright, time for a break. We will continue this fine lesson in wheelie-nomics when I get done smoking.